Audit them, the one who encourages you to audit them. Audit them, the one who encourages you to audit them. Beautiful. Alrighty. Can you be trespassed in the state of California in a public setting? Before we get started, I'd like to thank all the new members of Auditor's Shield in receiving the Auditor's Binder for your state. Here we are diving into the state of California, as this is going to be a packet that will be included in the California Binder when you become a membership with the Auditor Shield program. Here we are, we're looking at Title 14, Malicious Mischief, which covers the section for trespass. So we're going to go ahead and get right to it here. Let me zoom in. As clear as possible. This is directly from the California Legislative Information Code section on the government website. Hey guys, how's it going? So with that being said, we're going to get right to it. This is part 1 of Crimes and Punishment, Title 14, Malicious Mischief. This is from the California Code here, and it reads, except as provided in subsections U, V, and X, and section 6028, which we'll reference. A person who willfully commits a trespass by any of the following acts is guilty of a misdemeanor. So, any of the following, we're going to go ahead and get right to the section that's relevant here. Relevant to the common auditor, to the everyday citizen, which is Section O. Section O is referring to refusing or failing to leave land, right? Real property or structures belonging to or lawfully occupied by another, and here's the key word, and not open to the general public. Okay? Zoom in? Yeah, I could zoom in more. Alrighty. So we're going to go to section O once again. Let's go ahead and look over it. Here we go. So, hey, Wanda, Tommy, Miguel, Claudette, hello there. Let's see who else we have in here. Mason, good to see everybody in here. So the bottom line, we're going to continue to read this statute here. This is going to be a short one. The bottom line is that you cannot be trespassed in the state of California in a public setting. And it further elaborates here, general public. So once again, refusing or failing to leave. Well, the clerk asked you to leave and you're failing to leave, so you're going to be trespassed, said the officer. Well, you have this packet in your California binder, which reads, no, officer, this does not apply to the general public. So refusing or failing to leave land, real property, or structures belonging to or lawfully occupied by another and not open to the public. So upon being requested to leave by one, a peace officer at the request of the owner. So all of this stuff is irrelevant if you're at a government entity. The owner's agent or the person in lawful possession, and upon being informed by the peace officer that they are acting in the request of the owner, the owner's agent, or in the person of lawful possession. None of those means the government employee. Or to the owner or owner's agent, right? The government entity is not owned by an owner, or owner's agent is, it doesn't apply to a public government entity where they're subject to the Freedom of Information Act and they cannot deny you that access. So the owner, the owner's agent, or the person in lawful possession shall make a separate request to the peace officer on each occasion when the peace officer's assistance in dealing with a trespass is requested. However, a single request for a peace officer's assistant made in a notarized writing on a form provided by the law enforcement agency may be made to cover a limited period of the time exceeded, a time period determined by local ordinance, or 12 months, whichever is shorter, and identified by specific dates, times, and where, which there is a fire hazard, or the owner or owner's agent or person in lawful possession is absent from the premises of property. Oh, I zoomed in, it jumped out. Let me scroll back up. All I did was zoom out and it jumped. Alrighty, so bottom line, here it further says, let's see here. Oh, T Dot, someone gave you a shout out. Sheila, hello there, good to see you. Let's see. Section O. Alrighty, here we go. So here it further says here, guys, look at this. We're gonna punch in well, as a matter of fact, we left off right here. And in addition, a single request for a peace officer's assistant made in notarized writing on a form provided by law enforcement agency may be made for a period not to exceed 12 months when the premises or property is closed with a posted sign. The requester shall inform the law enforcement agencies. Okay, we're going to skip this fluff here. And what we're going to do is we're going to hit a key strike here for open, right? Yep. So again, here it further elaborates. Right. Yeah, now you're talking, Wanda. Here it further elaborates in the California Code. For purposes of this section, land, real property, or structures owned or operated by a housing authority for tenants as defined in constitutes property are not open to the general public. Okay, well that's for the housing. However, this is the line that you folks gotta highlight here. This is another piece that I wanted to point out. Section T1, entering private property, including contingents land, real property, or structures thereon belonging to the same owner, which are not generally open to the public after having been informed by the peace officer by the request of the owner or owner's agent or person in lawful possession, and the person that the property is not open to that particular person. Alrighty, it's short and simple here. As long as this statute is, once you do receive a copy of this 3-pager here, the only thing you should have highlighted on this entire 3-pager is if an officer pulls you over or you're talking with a cop that they call, they're saying trespass. This is what you have highlighted here. Officer, a person who willfully commits a trespass by any of the following is guilty of a misdemeanor. You go to section, because all this other stuff relates to trees. If you're cutting down or you're destroying trees, you're committing trespass, right? Digging, malicious tearing down, entering on lands of other persons, but the part that's relevant to the city halls and stuff would be section O. Officer, sure, a person does commit trespass when they refuse or fail to leave land. Well, that's what you're doing now. Real property or structures belonging to or lawfully occupied by another and not open to the general public. Not open to the general public. So that was just a quick read right there. And salute to all the members of Auditor Shield, because right now we have about 5 states covered. Binder already ready, but we're nowhere near yet. We got to cover all 50 states so we could release the Enterprise. Auditor Shield Enterprise, which covered all 50 states. That's for a later convo. We're going to talk about the app. We're going to flicker through the app. For the app, you got to log on Tribe channel. You got to become a member on his channel to access the app. However, when we announce beta testing, the price is going to go up on that one when we release beta testing. So make sure you folks come in and show how serious you are and log on. Because once we release the app, it's going to be finished with. The binder is going to be a lifetime gig. The app, it's going to be 4D. I have my First Amendment shield. Yeah, well, there's no excuses. All this is accessible on everybody's phone. There's no excuses why nobody should not know their right, the Constitution, when you say your constitutional right to an officer, they'll giggle or they'll laugh. When you announce FOIA to the officer, they'll say that's above their pay grade. They'll get bored and they'll want to walk away. So it's a reminder that the Freedom of Information Act is a constitutional form of government, right? And all this is intertwined and intertwinkled. All these additional codes that you'll find in the Auditor Shield binder that relate to citizen, auditor, citizen government, checking on government and making sure that is being conducted in the public interest. So with that being said, man, again, I'm grateful and I'm thankful. And the more states that we cover, we're going to be going over a plethora of information. So stay tuned for that. The one who encourages you to audit them.